What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mattel WWE Elite Collection Wrestlemania Heritage Series Mick Foley. And so here we have Mick Foley posing out of the packaging. Now, before we take a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at what he comes with. Mick Foley does come with two pairs of hands. We do get a pair of grip hands for Mick Foley. And then we also do get a pair of bang bang fingers for Mick Foley. He also does come with the body of Dangerous Danny Davis, which we'll have a better look at when he's all put together. And other than that, we don't get anything else, which is a little bit unfortunate because Mick Foley does need a barbed wire 2x4. That's just his thing. And I'm kind of disappointed he doesn't come with it. So, with that out of the way, guys, let's actually have a closer look at Mick Foley. And so here we have a closer look at Mick Foley, and okay, I'm not going to lie to you. Having this figure in hand, the likeness is much better than what it is in pictures. However, I know what they were going for. It kind of makes sense to me, but the execution of this head is not that great. Now, the photoreal on this head is done really nicely. I do like it, but it doesn't look like Mick Foley, in all honesty. Certain angles, yes, it looks like Mick Foley, but the black hair and the really dark goatee, it doesn't scream Mick Foley in my opinion. Now, that's not saying it's a bad head sculpt. It actually looks a lot like Cactus Jack. You can see we have a picture of Cactus Jack right here just for reference, and that looks much more like Cactus Jack. If the hair was wilder, this would be a spot-on Cactus Jack head sculpt. Kind of disappointed that we didn't get a better Mick Foley head, but as far as Cactus Jack goes, it would make a really awesome Cactus Jack custom. Part of the reason I don't really like this figure is his hair. Now, there's nothing wrong with the hair, it's just that Mick Foley never really had his hair wet whenever he came out to the ring. It normally got this way through sweat, and having it flat, it just doesn't seem right. It should actually be like crazier, and I think that's what's really throwing the look of this figure off, is the fact that he doesn't have crazy hair. Now, taking a look at the figure itself, we do have his flannel vest, which is done really nicely, and it is the same flannel vest that we got with Cactus Jack, and I believe Luke Harper also came with this. It's a really nice little thing, and it is removable if you want to take it off. I'm leaving it on just because it's kind of what he wore during his match with Edge, so it's part of his attire. It's not like entrance gimmick or anything like that. It was part of his gear, so there is that. You can see he is wearing some sleeves right here, which it does hide the Cactus Jack scar, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it is covered up, so you really don't notice it too much. Taking a look at his wrist, you can see Mick Foley did go out of his way to wrap his wrist, and that does look good. Again, really liking the white pegs on this figure. They could have done the flesh-colored pegs, but the white pegs really do make it look that much better. We, of course, do have the Cactus Jack t-shirt right here. It says Wanted Dead, Cactus Jack, and then more unreadables because it's so small. I like that print on it, honestly. And it's a rubber overlay, so it's not actually sculpted on the figure. It's just part of rubber appliance, so there is articulation underneath that. And then we move on to his warm-ups, and warm-ups, sweats, whatever you want to call them, he's wearing it. It's not ring pants, it's not tights. It's actually just like warm-ups, like sweatpants, and that's pretty much what Mick Foley wore when he faced Edge. And we, of course, have his white boots. Now, I do have an issue with my Mick Foley. You can see his left leg is a little bit loose right here, and then we have some looseness right here on the swivel. It's a tight swivel on the right leg, but this is where I'm having the most issue, is that because this leg doesn't peg into the peg properly, you can see the entire ankle is moving. I'm going to have to find a way to thicken that peg up because you can see it moves. In fact, if I do that, you can start to see it wants to pop off. That's a little bit unfortunate and really nothing I can do about it right now, but I can fix it later. And then this one just has loose ankle syndrome, which really hate loose ankles because it does make standing the figure almost impossible. And seeing as how Mick Foley is a bigger guy, I'm having a lot of issues with it. So overall, it's It's a figure that I like, but at the same time, there's more that they could have improved on. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get them compared to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have Mick Foley posed next to an Elite Brock Lesnar and a basic Jeff Hardy. And finally, here we do have Mick Foley posed next to the Ultimate Edition's Triple H and the Elite Cactus Jack. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually run through Mick Foley's articulation. He does have a ball joint in the head, but his head sits really low on that joint, so we really don't get too much movement. You can see there is some, but not a lot. Same with the swivel, it is a little bit hindered, and the hair does have a tendency to push the vest off, so do be aware of that. You can see the vest does get caught in the hair, so just be wary about that whenever you're moving the head. Arms are on a ball joint, they do go all the way around, but because there's so much here with the vest and the rubber shirt, they do go off at an angle, and you really can't get his arms down to his side that well. His arms do go out past vertical, so I do like that, or past horizontal, you can see they go much further. We do have a bicep swivel, which again, because of how much bulk there is, it always tends to jet his arm out, which is a little bit unfortunate. We do have an elbow joint which goes 90 degrees, swivel and hinge at the wrist, no issues there. We do have an ab crunch which does crunch forward a little bit and crunches back, but it is hindered by all this rubber overlay of Mick Foley, so do be aware of that there is some hindrance in his articulation. Same thing with the legs, his shirt does get in the way, but you can get his leg out all the way. It goes back. And he does a splits, pretty decent for Mick Foley. Swivel at the thigh, oh, and that's really loose. There's a lot of loose joints on this figure. Double jointed in the knee, and those knees are also kind of weak. There's a lot of looseness with them. I mean, you can see me just doing this moves the leg a lot. So I'll have to take a look at this figure really closely. Swivel at the ankle, and then again, I don't want to pop that foot off, so he does have an ankle hinge which does work nicely. And of course, rocker ankle, but really loose joints on mine, which is a little bit unfortunate because I didn't need a Mick Foley in my collection, but overall I still think he came out nice. I don't think yours will have the same issues as mine, so with that out of the way, let's actually move on to my final thoughts. And here we do have the Wrestlemania series Mick Foley posed for my final thoughts, and overall I really do like the way this figure came out, don't get me wrong. The head sculpt is a little to be desired. It kind of looks like Mick Foley, but I think it looks more like his Cactus Jack persona more than Mick Foley, and if this figure didn't have so many quality control issues on it, I probably would do some head swapping on it, but unfortunately this figure does have some issues. The ankles are really loose, especially the right ankle, and then the left one doesn't peg in all the way, and the left leg is completely loose, so I do have to knock this figure down a little peg, but that's just mine. It could be quality control just on my end. Your figure probably won't have the same issue. If it's a universal issue, let me know down in the comments, and maybe we can see if there's common ground for quality control, bring it to someone's attention, I don't know. But if you are looking for this particular Mick Foley, he is available at Walmart and Target at the time I'm making this video, along with the rest of the Wrestlemania series. They will run you about $20 each, which is fair for an Elite figure, seeing as how the price for 6-inch figures is starting to go up to $25. The fact that these are still $20 is something that's okay in my books. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other WWE videos, as well as all my other WrestleMania videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments. And if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos. And as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later.